Lakshma sir came inside. It's very difficult. It is not to do with similar. Now these are all Paul Gauguin, Mughal miniature. Till today on the canvas. I don't use dupatta. It's also beauty. The old foil is big. My father always said, focus on your career. Today I am here because of my father. I did practice still, but 2010 drawings chupistanu how it really became different. Now I started looking at figures. Figures again, I was enjoying the rotary pen. I used to do a lot of rotary pen before this, but this became a series of small format drawings. They're all called sample papers. So then a paper, I didn't leave any paper. Everywhere I would draw, and that anyway naturally most of us do. So this is a series of works of different faces, but you will see me in all these because I started looking at myself because for one reason I was doing a lot of lithos on portraiture, Goan portraiture, then Bengalis look different and all that. Then Lakshma sir came inside one day and said, why are you doing other people? You are looking at yourself every day in the mirror. Why can't you concentrate on your own face, your own features, make it more contemporary? Realism you have already learnt, but why don't you look at it in a more different way? So you look at yourself, observe your face. Every day morning, let's say when we brush our teeth, we look if we have pimples on our face and I'm just telling you generally. So we know ourselves better. It's very difficult to know ourselves also. Technically, if you have to write a book about yourself, it's very difficult. You can write a book on others. It's easy to judge others than to judge ourselves again. This thing. So I started looking at myself and slowly I started realizing that whenever I do a drawing, the women are all round, have thicker lips, nostrils are more visible, eyes are little doe-eyed kind of thing. So I started looking at the structure of the woman, and that's when I started looking at drawing as otherwise we used to do a lot of drawing in our BFA days. Then naku interest ayindi on the clothes, the drapery. I will be wrong if I say that most of the women love design. It is not to do with the feminine character side. Men also love design. It's not men, woman, malli. Because I'm a woman, I think I'm more bent towards looking at it that way. But I as a person, I would look at design and I started becoming a little more conscious of what I'm putting on paper. I mean, earlier it was all experimental phase and I used to take anything and do. But right now it's slowly self-consciousness it started. So as you're growing, you start looking at your own work in a very critical you start critiquing your work. So my work was all about how women are, what are they doing on the paper. When you're drawing, what is your woman doing? I don't think and do. I start drawing and then I start making one story. So this is all from that series. Next. The full figure, this is myself only. 2011 works. Next. Now these are all works I started again Monday. These are the prints that I use from block print. Blocks I used to use, and then what with the block texturing, loving to use. Monday the same thing. If you go back to my etchings, previously I used to use the plate. I again rubbed it with acid. Whatever remaining, I would use that as elements or as textures for my now works. Atlane idi kuda, these blocks were used for some certain painting, and then I reused it for my present work. So there are some things which are, if you look at this neck part and all, they are all previous face in Sri Lanka, the previous art this thing on the canvas. I used it for this painting. Next. So in the meanwhile, I also had a professor called Shyam sir. So when I showed him, this has a lot of works, series, he asked me to start observing Paul Gauguin. Paul Gauguin's work, Tahiti women, they are all similar like this. So but I see myself here, not Tahiti women. So sometimes what happens when you see some work, you think, Arey, Vaikutam sir lagundi, Lakshma sir lagundi. It's not like that. You somehow, somewhere catch, the mind catches. You subconsciously keep that in your mind and you start using it. It's not that you are not there. It's not that you are looking at some artist and getting influenced. It's just that you are somewhere, similar in your composition. Next. again this is on printed paper. I love, as I said before, textures. I love already printed stuff. I also like already done work. దాని మీద మళ్ళీ rework చేస్తాను. చాలా మంది ఈ రోజు నేను కూడా అంటాను that you have to go back and look at your old works. It's very important to do that. You may be having a lot to learn from there. So this already is anyway 2000 తర్వాత ఉన్న works. 2001 నుంచి 2003 నేను already rework చేస్తున్నాను నా already ఉన్న works plates మీద. This is already continuing, but in a different language. So printed paper మీద నేను I am working. This is another phase where నేను చాలా watercolors మీద concentrate చేశాను. Medium has changed completely. Women again మళ్ళీ నేను అంటున్నాను this is design. At the back also I use design. Then I like to use the text. Text came from the beginning. మీరు చూస్తున్నప్పుడు నేను నా స్టూడెంట్ లైఫ్ లో beer bottles and bottle compositions మీద కూడా only for women. Why I like text is because I felt this Dept painting, Mughal miniature, Pala scripts, manuscripts, అన్ని దాంట్లో text ఉంటాయి. Art and text and art and narration go together. Art and storytelling go hand in hand. So because of which I thought that I should also use these things here. ఉన్న sample paper, Canson the sample paper ఇది I didn't change. It may not be a part of storytelling, but it is there as element. It may not be aesthetically so great sitting here, but I wanted not to remove it. I wanted to keep it. Next, same series lo another work. ఒక్క నిమిషం కొంచెం స్లో వెళ్ళండి వాళ్ళు చూస్తారు. Yeah, next. So I started using this watercolor face మీద మనం generally we start shading the face and all, but I want to put patch, then darker patch on that and leave it, then design. So if you talk about tattoo and all that, hand with a tattoo, face with a tattoo, neck with a tattoo, I already started thinking about not tattoo but design on the face. Wanted to experiment. So this is one of the phases. Yeah. So this is myself again. It's a self portrait. మళ్ళీ నేను ఆ డ్రెస్ మీద డిజైన్స్ అవన్నీ యూ లుక్ ఎట్ ద డ్రెస్ సో ఐ కాన్సన్ట్రేటెడ్ ఆన్ మై ఎంటైర్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ వాజ్ ఆన్ ద కాంపోజిషన్ విచ్ ఇంక్లూడెడ్ డిజైన్ ఆల్సో అండ్ డ్రేపరీ. నెక్స్ట్ ఈజ్ ఓన్లీ డ్రాయింగ్ సెల్ఫ్ పోర్ట్రేట్. నెక్స్ట్ 2015. So now I started using rice paper. So now if I have been talking from 2001 to 2015, every year, every day a painter or an artist paints, including a sculptor or a musician or a theatre person. It's just that I thought that in this journey, meanwhile, what I'm doing in all the years will be similar. The gradual changes may not be visible, but what are the drastic changes I thought I will show you. This is on rice paper. There was an poet, Kannada poet, and then he wrote in English also. Forgot his name. So I used his, I directly copied his work, taking the permission of the family members. I directly copied the poetry into my artwork. And then, as I said, if you look at my what I've said before, I started using dragonflies. Till today, I have been using dragonflies in different compositions. In different dragonflies also change చూస్తారు. ఇప్పుడు ఉన్న dragonfly తర్వాత ఉన్న dragonfly కూడా the way I am looking at it has changed. So I used his poetry and then Amma Meeda is poetry. So I thought I should add text. So text again continues in my artwork. Next. This is the previous series only. You will choose it. Next. No. So anyway, this thing, if I talk about tattooing, it may not be tattooing, it may be some, decorative mehendi or something like that. So tattooing, mehendi, all these things, we are more inclined towards. So this may be me, but this is my observation of other women also. It's just not me. Me, I'm a narcissist laga maatladlenu, but most of the time we are occupied in ourselves. We human beings are slightly selfish. We don't, first it is us and then it is, even in the flight when you sit, you first protect yourself and then you have to protect others. And this is a very small thing, but anyway, but Usually you are there, but then actually these observations which you're putting on this space is also about other people. Sometimes you're satiring on the society. Sometimes there is some other narration, suppose someone else's story, but you're also there in that. So this is one of that kind of. Now 2019 you will find a separately different kind of series of work there where I have concentrated only on the face, design and elements that I'll show you. Yeah, completely different, and this is the series I am also still working. My father used to say, come out of portraiture and do something else. Then I used to tell him, Daddy, your poetry has different ways of looking at life. For me to reach up to him will take another generation altogether. It will take another life. So I used to love card playing. When I used to go to Kerala to visit my grandmother, in the train we used to play cards. And then నేను చెప్పింది I said that earlier that I was born and brought up in CFA, ఇప్పుడున్న FU. So NIN పక్కన ఉంది, National Institute of Nutrition. అక్కడ experiment చేసే monkeys, they used to just leave. It would come into this overflowing dustbins of CFA. అయితే we were brought up in actually running away from those monkeys, looking at those monkeys doing human kind of behavior, and so many monkeys. Today also you'll find in some places, Maradpalli and other places. So these things stayed on, and now these things have become like two elements. One is nostalgia, the trip behind to my childhood. Second is satire to the society. What does society do? They're only bothered about what's happening outside. What is happening in other people's house. There's one fight, there's a quarrel, let's go and see. You don't help, but you just go and watch. So this is a satire that when I use monkeys, it is very human, like the closest to us. So this is why I use monkeys here. And then you can do anything, no? They're grooming here. You see monkeys grooming, which we also do. Mana child is sitting on us, we see penlu unnaya, netti meeda edana dandruff unda. So this thing, what happens is that you somehow have this tendency of showing what you are inside. Art and art practice is not separate. What you are, that is on the canvas. It cannot be separate at all. There will always be a small hint, if not a large hint of you on the canvas. Even if a great portrait artist does a portraiture of someone, his or her hint is always there in on that portraiture. That you have to agree. Okay. And then I again use design, but now my design language has changed completely. I made it more precise. I have started looking on precision. Earlier it was little more freedom, experimentation. Emaitadi, chalo, let me just experiment. I am not going for perfection. Here, now I started looking at, I don't use graphs, but I started looking at being a little more perfect. Right now I started doing sculptures మీద Nagesh Garg laga I started doing, but then here also in sculptures and it just started. There also నేను అంత perfection చేస్తలేను. I am using sculpture as a painting. So this is one work where you will see again monkeys akada face మీద anta. Malli face kuda is like tattoo, but decoration, design, there is a composition, oka storytelling undi dantlo. Next, this is another card series. Ippudu meeru you see the dragonflies on the forehead. It has changed. It is malli now for me background lo meeru ippudu 2001 to 2003 lo you saw those I used backgrounds of previous works. I have not done the same thing, but I tried to get it on my new canvas. I did not work on an old canvas, but it's a new canvas where I have started using background as design and some like choosy chudunattu kind of self coloring, the same red on red. Now I am using Ajanta here suddenly. It's just because I have been teaching with NIFT also. So I prepared their Western art syllabus. I was the instrumental in doing that, and I also teach Indian art history. They have a lot of Ajanta, Aurangabad, caves and Ellora and all that. So our influence, plus once upon a time the founder of this college was also a lover of Ajanta. You have lots of Ajanta murals in the department and on staircase. So I teach chesi, I started loving the Ajanta women. Because beauty అనేది again it is in the eyes of the beholder, but I found them using ikat or pochampalli kind of dresses, again design. Then I started changing Ajanta the way it is in the caves, and I started making this mix and match Ajanta women. In the latest series, Ajanta women are also taking selfies. They're also looking at laptops. Recent works, I don't know if it is here, but I should see. So that's how I started looking. If Ajanta women, appatlo unna Ajanta women same dress veskoni ippudu unna material vadukunte, elements vadukunte etla untadi ani I started imagining and started working. So this the back is again background. You look at the dragonflies, they become more decorative. And this is from my cushion cover. Cushion cover lo unna design I have used as a background, just like a wallpaper. Next. So lot of, now this face you can see coming 2-3 times now. I started experimenting with same face, different background, different elements, different designs, and all that. So this is again Ajanta series. Whenever I started using geometrical symmetry. So background has just drawing of that geometry and symmetry and all. Just like how window panes of a time of windows. ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ చూడండి. ఈ విండోస్ ది అది కూడా సిమిలర్ ఓల్డెన్ టైమ్స్ వన్స్ అపాన్ అ టైమ్ హ్యాడ్ ఎ డిఫరెంట్ థింగ్. నౌ జస్ట్ ఈజీ చేయడానికి అన్ని లైన్స్ ఉన్నాయి కిటికీలకు. సో దిస్ ఇస్ ఆల్. See, so what I'm trying to tell you is that every small thing for me is very important. My observations are all here. So it's like a visual autobiography kind of series from the beginning. Next. Yeah. So this background is a copy. Very funnily is from one of my students who did a watercolor on geometry. I took her work and I thought that this is beautiful. Let me use it. So I started using such kind of things where children are taught color filling. I like this composition, so I've been using it in different ways in all my works. Some of my works. So inkoti Ajanta women are not in this color. So I started experimenting with color also. How if they are like this? If they are not brown and if they are not green, what is the other color we can use? Let's use purple. So this is all those kind of thing. So this is another series. Itla same you won't find it. This is my composition. I mean, I have created Ajanta woman from this cave, Ajanta woman from that cave. I've taken them and I have created my own story. This is my own narration. So Ajanta will now not come and say you're copying mine. You all know it's Ajanta there. But the story that I'm trying to weave is not even Jataka tales. I've taken Ajanta women and put them on my face. Next. So this is all again. Malli I have taken it from my dupatta. Then actually I like some design. I use it on my, because it is forever on a canvas. On clothes it may not be. You'll be giving your clothes to someone else. Once I like women and design. 90% go hand in hand. When you choose a sari, you take an age to stand in the sari shop and choose, because you want the best. Although that sari might be there with you for 2 years or 3 years, but you want to wear the best. And I'm very sure that suddenly there are some women who shop less, there are some women who shop more, but they'll just take anything and come. It is somehow there, I don't know. 90% and 100% Next. So again monkeys are there in the hair. Aim use your hair law. Hair I'm using here as 2 things. One is the curly hair of Kerala women. One is manaki hair actually tagipoindi because of. So what you do is what you're thinking in your mind, you want to keep it here on the canvas. Your desire to have thick and nice hair. One more thing, I use hair as a connotation to forest. So these monkeys going inside the hair, coming out. So I'm talking about the narration that I want to do. So I'm just trying to very carefully tell you what is actually the story of my canvas. Okay. Next. This is another design. Again, dragonflies have changed. Now I've added moth also. Moth is another butterfly kind of thing. Moth and design. There I have added women and dragonflies. Next. The flying figure here is Ajanta usually, and then lotuses and all that, and then dragonflies. Next. Here I use geometry and texture. Texture ante venaka background ki, and then women, and then monkeys. So women body and monkey body, I've just left it to the background texture, the background at longer, and and I worked on it. So when an artist actually is working, one thing Anjani ma'am used to tell me, Preeti, you should know where to stop. An artist should know where to stop, otherwise it becomes overworking. That is the major problem with most of the budding or the students. Where to stop? So what you should do, you should go back, look at your work. Sometimes incompleted work also has aesthetic, you stop. You can't finish saying that corner, this corner, let me finish fully and then stop. Somewhere you look at, if you go to the sculpture department now, you see some broken hand and something, you find there's aesthetic beauty there. That itself is nice. If you add a hand, there's nothing much there. Because two hands, two legs, symmetry and it doesn't give so much great beauty. Where there is some no similarity and disfigured, distortion form, there is beauty there somehow. That's why old antique dantlo beauty is more than today's elements. Next. This is a huge work again. Most of the works are not with me, so this is all what I have as pictures. Next, I think Priti. Yeah. Next. So again, now the Venaka is painted, by the way, it's not struck cards. Painted cards. I have given very lot of importance to again precision. Earlier, if you see our journey used to have booze bottles, the women and all that, you don't see so great precision, but there is also beauty there according to me. Because again, I am saying distortion and childlike work, all this innocence that you are only growing up and building your career as an artist, then you go back and visit your old works, you will find that are in an innocent today. There is beauty in that also. Next. Next, I think there is some repetition. This is with the Rajiv Gandhi Airport International Wing, bought by GMR. But I am very proud to say that because my work is there. Because there, you have to travel abroad to see this work. So what I did is here, giving my father poetry, and there is Gopal Mungalgiri is the artist, is the writer. Now I remember. So his poetry is very much like my father's. My father used to write on Chinna akkada Muslim vallu, they blow something in the bottle and give it to children, no? Some kind of adi undi. So that man, my father used to observe looking into from the balcony of his apartment and see how these mosques are, people coming. Any religion people come and take his blessings. Something, if the child is not well, they take his blessings. So he used to see that. So he wrote a poetry on that. He wrote a poetry on some beggar. He wrote a poetry on some great writing, aesthetically also. So from a small element to a large issue in society, my father used to write poetry on. So similar was Gopal Mungalgiri. So I took there on this side. This is a diptych work. So it ended 8 feet by 12 feet work. It took 6.5 months for me to work because I am also teaching here, so it's so difficult to do. But this was for an art show in State Art Gallery, in which I again used Ajanta women in a full-fledged form, and the separate ga kuda protection together kuda aa intention lo chesanadi. So it went together luckily. But I started using gold foil. The previous work I started using gold foil. Gold foil is because one thing is that maybe because of the way interest it creates, and another thing is gold foil pettinam chala difficult. So it starts just like watercolor, it starts bending and twisting and all that. And then however it is kept now, you have to accept it. So I started using gold foil not as a space but as an element in my work. So this is one work of mine. Next. This is a recent work. Although 2019 antunnanu, it's still now. This has been done last year only. Same Ajanta women. And choose first previous slide. You can see her using the Nokia phone. A chinna phone undi kada, paata phone. Ippudunna phones ki actually it's lot of screen issue. We used to love the previous greyish color phone, Nokia phone, which I don't think, I think only less people will be having it now. The first phone is so beautiful. I started seeing that like that. So I started using miniature painting, miniature all this. So I started liking doing those very linear work. So actually, when you are in a student's phase, you are confused, you want to experiment, you don't know what to write. Slowly when you go into this different different periods, no, you are very relaxed, you are earning money, you are teaching, you are doing well in your career, you are earning a lot of whatever people have say that you have contributed, and so you are very satisfied, you are sitting. That is actually not what you should be doing. You should be hunting so much for different things. So my father said, stop portraiture. You are bored, do something else. But I tell, unless I am bored, I can't stop it. That means you are forcing yourself. So I am just continuing doing this. So this is one. Next. Okay, na? Next. Yeah. So again, geometry, texture. Venaka is only texture. I played with texture and then I started using. Actually, entire space texture is done. These are I started drawing using. So you find this dragonfly in another way now. And then gold foil. Next. Same portrait I have done in another this thing. Like just like you are there, you are wearing different dresses every day. Your life starts in the morning to the night. Your every day is not the same day. So it's just like that. So I experimented again on the neck. The entire neck is full of, again previously also I covered the forehead with design, then gold foil, then geometry. Same again. The different ways of looking at the space. Yeah. So this is because you first time I'm showing my works in this kind of a mixed bag, community of people, artists and art students, parents. I thank you for your patience, and only one thing I can tell parents, that there are small children here. My father always said, focus on your career. It may be engineering, medicine, whatever. If you're not serious and passionate about what you're doing, you're wasting a lot of time. So నేను మా పిల్లలకి కూడా అదే చెప్తాను. In the department, morning Wi-Fi, no, work and till tomorrow. If you're dying today, you should work. That's how my father, నేను ఒకటి చెప్పాలనుకున్నాను. I want to today I am here because of my father.